All right. Hey, everybody. It is Thursday, June 1st, 2017. My name is Dee Corchin, and I am glad to have our Eat, Live, and Be Healthy group together again. We're doing these calls once a month. We do them for you, and what we really try to do is pick really relevant topics, things that we know are going to make a difference in your long-term success, and really just take the opportunity to have our clients share, our coaches share, and in a way that we hope will benefit you greatly. So tonight's topic is maintenance. And we know that everybody has entered this journey, right? We all entered with the goal of losing weight. We love the idea of keeping it off forever. But very often we get started and the weight loss plan works so great, our lives get so busy, it's really easy to just start focusing on the weight loss plan alone. So no matter where you are in your journey, if you're brand new with us, or maybe you're in weight loss, maybe you've been on maintenance and maybe weren't so successful and want to learn how to do it better, this is the call for you. So I'm going to turn it over to Julie Apple. She is an executive director, health coach. You guys know her from our page, very well versed in this topic. And then she is going to have some of our clients and other coaches share as well. So Julie, I'll let you unmute and you can just take it from here.
Hey guys. So as we were preparing for this call, one of the things that I think all of us have in our minds is when we start the program, we have this idea of fad diets that, okay, I can do this for a short term, lose some weight, and then I can go back to eating what I want to eat, right? I think that's what we all have in our mind because that's what we've grown up doing and what our world and our culture kind of promotes is a fast fix mentality. So I think our program is what sets us apart and that we have a structured weight loss component. We have a structured transition, which we talked about last call. And then we have this structured maintenance plan. So I would love to let Jonathan and Julie, I'm going to ask both of them some questions. And then after we do that, I want to kind of walk through transition, pick up where Dee talked about last month, and then how that carries us forward for maintenance. So first, I'll ask Julie if she'll jump in. We were just talking for a minute. And Dee, if you want to unmute Julie.
I think, did I unmute myself?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So it's been awesome. Julie and I have known each other for several years because I got to train Julie. And we worked together for about a year. And then I ended up running back into her at boot camps where I had started teaching class. And so at that point, Julie kind of came to me and said, okay, I've got to get back to where I want to be. And that was almost maybe 2 years ago. And within about 8 months, maybe she had reached her goal by about this time last year. And then we joke because I always say it started with the chocolate because that was in her mind. That's what I'm going to have as soon as I reach my goal.
Oh, no. So, it was actually my husband's idea.
Her husband's fault. So tell us what happened in your mind, Julie, just so you can kind of give us an inside peek to your world. And then I'm going to ask Jonathan to give us an inside peek to his world, and Lisa.
I actually had friends in town for the weekend, and I weighed myself on the scale and said, oh my gosh, I've reached my goal. And then my husband walked over with this Mally's chocolate that he's been holding for a couple of months. Then was chocolate covered peanuts. So anyway, that kind of started it. But, and I have to say, I kind of just haven't been sticking with maintenance. I went on maintenance and, I added things back and stuff like that. But then I just kind of was eating whatever. But, for me, I'm not as young as a lot of people. Our weight doesn't come off as easy as a lot of people. And so it just kind of started coming back. But I'm definitely not back to where I was when I started this. And I am still working out at boot camp, and everything. And I am 64 years old. So I'll just put that in there. But it is a struggle. It's a struggle every day because it just seems like the weight just doesn't come off me that easy, except if I continue to follow the program. So I need to really learn how to eat and transition myself off this program so that I can maintain my weight.
And we were talking a second ago, and I think one of the coolest parts is the continued accountability. And Julie and I have stayed in touch the whole time. And I've been encouraging Julie, but I've known she's not quite where she wants to be. And then maybe a month or so ago, she just reached out and said, Julie, help me get back on track. I'm not doing this. And I'm not staying where I want to stay. And that, I think, is what is so valuable about having a coach. And I am thankful for Dee, and I'm thankful to have a coach too. And we have to keep the guardrails up. And I think as soon as those guardrails come down, we just kind of veer off the course. And that's so easy to do. But I think when you have some account, it's a game changer. So the other thing that I notice, and I always look at it, and Julie and I were just talking, is we have this extreme weight loss. And then in our culture, it's like you go way back up to where you were before, and then you're back down. So it's like this diet mentality of all the way, you start at the top, you lose tons of weight, and then you bounce like a bungee cord right back up. So at least, and this is what I've encouraged Julie, at least at this point she knows that it's not quite where she needs to be. So instead of preventing that crazy weight gain and jumping all the way back to where she used to be, it's like, okay, how do I correct my course? And that's what's important. And that's why I think this is where the rubber meets the road. And that if you can stay involved and stay connected with your coach, it makes such a difference.
And I was just going to comment too that I think when I was struggling most, I was not really staying in touch with you. So, and even my sister had kind of said the same thing. When we need you both most, we kind of ignoring you, or, not wanting the help because we don't want to admit to you that we're not, maintaining, or we're not sticking to what our plan or whatever. And then when we get back on track again, it seems like we're talking to you more.
So that's what I would say. We know that as coaches. And so we're always here. And that's the thing that's cool. I think you can always reach back out, and we're always willing to help no matter where you're at. So let's, like every one of us, when you need help, cry out for help, because that's what we're here for. And so it's not something that I would say Julie is a failure. It's something we're all learning. It's a process. And here she is still fighting. And I think that's inspiring. And it speaks volumes that this program is way bigger picture than just, weight loss, quick fix, then what? So thanks for sharing, Julie.
Sure.
Jonathan and Lisa, we'd love to hear from you. I got to talk to Jonathan the other day, and we were chatting, and what would you say is been the best part about transitioning? What's been the toughest part, and kind of what's that look like for you guys?
The best part of transition is moving into what I'll call our permanent habits. We had the habits that got us where we are now. The 5-in-1, our safety blanket, that got us there. And then we had to learn a whole new set of habits and transition. So that's probably been the best part, which is learning more of the permanent habits that are going to keep us for the rest of our life. And that's probably the biggest struggle. Things that we gave up to lose weight, we were reintroducing, and that was scary. More than once, I've probably read those chapters in the book 5 times. And every time I see that, what I'm supposed to add back in this much whole grains, it's scary, because that's how, that's some of the ways that we lost weight. But it
gained weight.
That's right. And so now, we are still eating in similar manners. It's probably safe to say that we're on a 3 and 3. We have 3 meals, and we have 3 fuelings. And sometimes those fuelings are Optavia products, and sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're out of the book. The same 100-calorie fuelings that we used as optional fuelings during our weight loss journey, we still use those as a mid-morning snack or a mid-afternoon snack. But I'm going to admit we kind of like our brownies, our Optavia brownies in the evening.
So what would you say is a day in your life look like right now?
Food-wise,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm kind of a creature of habit. I probably eat the same thing every morning for breakfast. I like steel-cut oatmeal with blueberries and scrambled egg, and a healthy fueling middle of the day or, mid-morning. For me, I'm on the road all the time, so I generally keep an Optavia bar in my cooler. Lunch is either something that is left over from a healthy dinner the night before, or I have found on my route all of the safe places that I can eat something that's not junk. Same thing in the afternoon. Oftentimes in the afternoon, my snack will be an apple and some nuts. And then we still stick to a pretty lean and green dinner. Dinner is almost exclusively lean and green for us. Tonight we had stir fry with squash, broccoli, and cauliflower rice. But then and turkey sausage, and then dinner or a late night snack is almost always an Optavia fueling something sweet, because we like to end with something sweet.
So it's still nice to look forward to that late night treat, right? Or the
Yep.
last snack.
Yep, that last fueling, we kind of look forward to that.
And it's way better than ice cream, right?
Yes, well, there's a soft serve.
Exactly.
And so we don't call it cheating because we're in this together, but we will make a soft serve and a brownie and split it. And we have brownies and soft serve.
So wise. So what keeps you guys motivated right now? So since you're pretty much in maintenance mode, do you have small goals, or what are you working for to keep yourself on track, would you say?
I guess you'd say we have some small goals. Since we hit transition, we shoot to be active almost every weekend. We like to hike and we like to bike, and we just kind of hit some major milestones this weekend with some mountain climbing. So those are the things that keep pushing us forward, is just doing it together and being active together. And if there's anything else that keeps me motivated, I can speak for me personally. I don't ever want to go back.
Yes, never.
Amen. That's so cool. Thanks for sharing, guys.
Thank you.
So I think picking it up where Dee left off last call, the important part of talking about transition is figuring out where your calories need to be. So if you guys go to our website, Dee is going to pull up screen share so that we can calculate that and give you guys an example of where your TEE should be. So this is on our your coaches our website, and it's under programs up at the top, and then you can go down to where it's got the 3 and 3 maintenance plan, and it actually lets you calculate what your calories need to be for maintenance. And so if we were to put in, let's say female, and then let's just say our goal weight is 150 pounds, and then let's say we're 5'7", and then let's just put in that we're 50 years old. What I usually do, and I would encourage you to do, is use the sedentary so that you can get a baseline. This does not take into effect like any exercise, but it gives you a baseline number of where your calories should be. So what it'll shoot out and say, okay, it's around 1,600 calories is what you need to be consuming daily, and that's going to help you maintain. So if you eat 1,600 calories, you're going to stay at your goal weight as long as those calories stay there. What you'll notice is if you start tracking in MyFitnessPal, let's say, all of a sudden the calories start to go up and you have that extra ice cream and you have that extra pizza on the weekend, things like that, you're no longer keeping that calorie intake at around 1,600. And then you're going to start to see your weight go up slowly, slowly, slowly. So the key is that once you've gone through transition, and what I think is so cool about our transition process is you are slowly adding back carbs. in the process of transition. So if you go think through, if you've transitioned or if it's coming your way, week 1 of transition, you add back extra veggies, and it can be starchy veggies. Week 2, you add back fruit. Week 3, you add back dairy. Week 4 enters grain. All those increase your carbs. So what the program's designed to be around 40% carbs, 40% protein, 20% fat while you're on weight loss. So those are your macronutrient breakdown. When you reach your goal, your macros are going to change. And this is all from Nutrition Support. I reached out to them a couple summers ago and said, tell me how this macro, how does this work for macros for clients during weight loss, and then also once you reach your goal. So 50%.
Julie, do you want to just explain macros just in the event that somebody doesn't understand that, what you, like if you said 50, whatever, what you're referring to?
Yep. So your macros are basically your carbohydrates, your protein, and then your fat. Those 3 compose all the calories that we eat every single day. So if your carbohydrate intake on 5 and 1 is around 40%, your protein is also 40%. You want those to be about 1-to-1 while you're on the 5 and 1. And that's exactly how the program is designed. Your fat's going to be lower and your calories are lower. As you slowly transition week by week, your macros, those carbs, fat, protein, are naturally, gradually adding back carbs. So that if you started tracking in MyFitnessPal how many calories you're eating, and let's say you set your goal of calorie intake at around 1,600, while you're tracking your food at the end of about 4 weeks of transition, you're naturally going to be around 50% carbs, around 20% protein, and around 30% fat. So your macros are going to go into more of a maintenance breakdown, and that's what you have to keep that balance for maintenance. So we have this bubble that's great while we're on 5 and 1. And the scary part for everybody is, oh, what do I do as I get through transition and then maintaining? But there's still structure. You just have to put a little bit more work into it and just a little bit more time for tracking and keeping things structured. So this TEE, you can put your numbers in there, and I would estimate on the lower side, because if you put in, let's say, very active, what does that change it to? 2303. That is probably way too high for anybody to be taking in every single day. You're going to quickly gain weight back. And most people's metabolism is not going to burn that. You're not going to see any kind of maintenance. So I would suggest going with a sedentary. And then if there's days where you're working out, Jonathan and I were talking about this, where you're extremely active, you may find you need to listen to your body and eat a good bit more, but that's only if you're extremely active. Listen to your body and learn and see, okay, if I'm eating 6 times a day, that's one of the keys of maintenance. You still have to eat 6 times a day. And like Jonathan and Lisa, they eat 3 main healthy balanced meals and then 3 fuelings, either Optavia or their own. But you still need to eat 6 times a day. If you're doing that, you're going to keep your calories in check, but you may find, oh, I'm a little bit more hungry because I went and did an Orange Theory class today, or I worked out. So add a little extra protein and carbs and fat. It's okay. You just still need to maintain that macro breakdown. So I'll post a great little picture after this call that I kind of put together so you can see how that works and how you can put that into MyFitnessPal. But hopefully this helps you guys understand what your calorie intake needs to be. The other thing I'd love to look at, Dee, if you pull up those sample meal plans, that actually walks you through. It's actually, it's a different attachment that I had gotten from Nutrition Support. Do you have that one? That's like 3, it's like 2 fuelings. If not, I can load it to our page later and we can look at it.
No, I don't have that. Can you see what I pulled up with the 1,600 calorie? No?
So right now I don't see anything
Hold on. Can you see it now? Yes? Okay. Uh-oh, I think Julie is frozen. Uh-oh, we lost our moderator. All right, so can you guys can see this. Jonathan, Lisa, nod your head. Yeah.
So look at it, but what it does is it breaks down where you're.
Julie, you were going in and out on us. Did we just lose her? So this is, your health coach can help you find this on here. This is an example of what a 1600 calorie plan is. And, you know, using regular whole foods from the grocery store, and then a combination with the fuelings, either the Optavia bar, like I used it, just the general Optavia Essentials or Select products, just because my daily caloric intake is not that high. But if you're a male or very, very active, you might want to use, we have the Optimal Health products, which are a little higher in calories. But I think the main point here, and hopefully Julie will come back on, but the main point is that that it's real important to keep our structure of the 6 times a day that never goes away. And when you look at what your total calories are, to eat 6 times a day, there's not a whole lot of room for things like what Julie mentioned, the candy that she added, you know. And so often when we lose weight, we can't wait to get back to, you know, the glass of wine or the pizza or things like that. And it's not that any of that is going to be off limits. It's just that we don't have as much margin for stabilization. So if we have something like that, it's selective. It's not an all the time thing. And it might just be like once a week or whatever. So I think that's the hardest part about maintenance, is that we want to go back to what the world does, you know, what our friends are eating and all of that. And it kind of reinforces why we talk about, you know, surrounding ourselves with a healthy community, you know, other like-minded people. So for example, Jonathan and Lisa are great. They're very much on the same page, you know, with their health. Julie, are you back?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Sorry about that. So one last thing, that's exactly, thank goodness, Dee, we talk about this stuff. One cool example is if you guys just break down what your carbs may be in grams. We looked at this, and it would be if you ate 1,500 calories a day, let's say that's your TEE, you would need around 188 grams of carbs a day, which sounds like a lot. But when you think about one banana has maybe 25 grams of carbs, that goes quickly reduced what you can have. And I've had clients say, I eat like 3 bananas a day. No, that's like 75 grams of carbs right there. So you just want to be aware that's how many grams it adds up to on 1,500 calories of maintenance, let's say. And that protein is around 75 grams. And when you're on 5 and 1, you're eating about 80 to 100. So your protein is actually going to stay pretty much the same even when you're in maintenance. It's just that your carbs are going to be increased. And that's what I was explaining before is naturally happening during transition. And then your fat grams are around 50. One other really interesting thing is if you have 1 tablespoon of olive oil, it's around 14 to 15 grams of fat right there. So if you think about how quickly these grams go away, it helps you be more aware of like, okay, 1 avocado has 25 grams of fat. Well, I better not have the whole avocado then. So just having a big picture hopefully helps you guys see how everything adds up. And then you're just, you have to be a little bit more educated. And that's why it's so important to read Dr. A's book and for us to stay connected so that you take the bubble of 5 and 1 through transition. And then you help, just like Dee was saying a second ago, you got to keep structure. And that's what's so cool about the full circle of the program and us as coaches helping you guys, and that's what we're here to do.
Yeah, thank you, Julie. I mean, I think that's fantastic. And maintenance, it sounds daunting or scary, but you know, we kind of want to just guide you through it, that it doesn't have to be. But just like I think Julie, you know, Julie's client, Julie, was recognizing, is that it does require a lot of intentionality, you know, and I think that's with anything in life. We have to keep doing the kinds of things that brought us success. What brought us success to lose our weight was a change in habits, change in eating habits, probably a change in exercise habits. So that needs to continue. And to follow on what Julie said, which was such a good point about the grams of carbs, when you're on the 5-in-1 plan, you are getting about anywhere from 80 to 100 carbs already. So to only add 88 more is not so much. If you think about it, you incorporate some fruit in and, maybe some sweet potato or something like that, like bam, you're there. And the other thing to keep in mind is if you're not going to use fuelings, and whatever you decide is fine, we'll equip you with the education. But if you're not going to use the fuelings, like a Optavia bar or shake, they naturally have protein in them. So Julie was talking about our protein doesn't really change. So each one of them has anywhere from 11 to 14 grams of protein. So if you choose, let's say, well, I'm just going to have a piece of fruit for my mid-morning snack, we just have to then create this new habit of always adding protein. And maybe she talked about the tool, MyFitnessPal. That is an app. You can either put it on your phone or on the computer. Has a tremendous database, but you can play with that. Put in a hard-boiled egg, see how many grams of carbs or protein are in there. Put in turkey, see how much turkey you need to eat, because that just has to be the new reality of putting these proteins and carbs together to keep our blood sugar balanced. And the other thing is, and I love what Julie's client Julie said, was, we always know what to go back to. So if something starts going, awry, it's not going according to plan, we want you to raise your hand. We've got the tools to be able to help you reel it back in and reset the course. And that's what this is all about. Like, we just never arrive. We just might need to change directions a few times. So that was good. Any questions before we wrap this up? All right, well, hopefully this was helpful for you guys. On Sunday, if you live in the Atlanta area, we do have a client and coach health event this Sunday on June 4th. It's from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock, a great opportunity to come connect with our community. And we're gonna have a special workshop there with a consultant, and she's gonna help us create our stories. So basically what that means is, how do you share what you're doing in a way that can help to inspire other people? Because I know a lot of times our clients will tell us, well, they ask me what I'm doing, but they don't want to do the program. So we'll help you create that story and how you can inspire, because we know there's people in your world that you want to help. And other than that, you guys, we're looking forward to our focus group. You'll see a lot of activity in our Facebook page about that. And we'll look forward to seeing you again on this call on the first Thursday in July. We're going to be rolling over right into our health coach training. We do that once a month as well, or as needed throughout the month. And we are always looking to partner with more people who want to help a few people get healthy. And so if you'd like a glimpse into our world and what we train on, we welcome you to stay on for the health coach portion. Otherwise, you guys can sign off. It's absolutely fine. So we're going to, two things. So far, so good on the focus group. We're real excited about the activity that we've generated with that. And there were some mixed results with it. I kind of wanted just to point out, some health coaches had really great responses to the Facebook post and the emails, and others not so much. And we started to see a little bit of a pattern that Julie had identified today, which I thought was really good, was that some of us who have been coaching for a while, who are very experienced, we've been layering on people a lot over the past few years. Like, people are starting to see what we do, and they've seen our Facebook post, etc. So when we posted about the focus group, it was a call to action. So maybe people that have been on the fence, and Julie, maybe pipe in. You said that you had somebody who said they had been watching you for a few years.
Yeah, one of my neighbors, she and I talked it was actually just like 3 months ago, this particular one, but she and I talked like 3 months ago, and we've stayed in touch. And when I drive by her house, I'll text her occasionally and just ask how she's doing. Well, when she saw the focus group, she reached back out, and she's getting married in, I think, October or November. And she originally told me, I'm going to do this on my own. I don't think I can afford this. Well, when she saw the focus group, she texted me right away, and she's like, all right, I think we need to talk, and I'm ready. Is this what we talked about before? And so now, 3 months later, she decided she wants to jump on board. So it was just a matter of being the right time for her.
Yeah, that's great. And maybe Susan, was it you that told me that? Susan Giesland?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you had the 2 year.
Yeah.
So yeah, no wonder Julie looked shocked when I called on her. So a lot going on up here. Sorry. So yeah, Susan,
That's okay.
your story was 2 years, right? Somebody on Facebook, was that right?
Yeah, it's someone that I've been a friend with for a while. I met her through Jazzercise when I first moved here. And she's been following me on Facebook and seeing the posts and stuff like that and watching me. And she said she's been wanting to do it for 2 years. And then when the focus group came forward, it was like a call, like you said, a call to action. One of those things that just said, okay, I'm just going to do it. And I got to give her a lot of credit. She's really wants to put all in, you know, but they got to be ready, like anything else, you know.
Perfect. So if you are a newer coach, or perhaps you didn't have such a great response, realize that this was just one of your layering techniques, right? This was one of your layers that you put out there for people. So that people are seeing, people are watching. Susan had somebody watching for a couple of months. So it just reinforces that we want to be consistent with like letting people know what we do as health coaches, and also the importance of follow up with people, that you just never know when the right time is gonna come up. So what I wanted to talk about tonight was what we've tried to do, our executive director team has been trying to do, is we really want to simplify things for all of us so that we have easy go-to documents. We have so much available to us, but our role as a health coach is relatively simple. We want to, talk to people, acquire new clients, people that are ready to move forward with their health. We want to be equipped that we can support them, guide them to all the tools that we offer. And then if we want to grow our business with health coaches, we want to know how to talk to people about the business opportunity and how to support a new health coach. So what we did is we put our heads together and came up with 2 documents, which I am going to post in our Facebook group. They'll be in the files section that you can print and you might find helpful to you. And I don't know that we'll have time to go in detail through both of them, but I thought it would be worthwhile to go through the first one, which is how to do a quality program share with somebody. And I'll pull it up in just a second. But what I want to just reinforce with this is a program share is when we have somebody that is interested, right? They maybe have noticed your weight loss, they've asked what you're doing, or maybe you've shared that you're a health coach, and they're like, oh, tell me about it. What's the name of it? What is it? And the most important thing is that we always want to have that conversation at a separate designated time. Because if somebody catches you, let's say you're at the office and you're at work and somebody catches you in the bathroom or in the hallway or at lunch, right? They're going to be firing questions at you, and you're going to be much more in a reactive mode, basically just describing our program like a commodity to them. And we know that's what makes us so different, is that we're the complete opposite of that. We really want to find out what's going on with our client. Why are they stuck? Why are they frustrated? What is it they really want? Why do they want it? Really start to find out what their desired needs are. And then when we talk about the program, it becomes very clear to them why this is different and why this could help them, where maybe something else in the past didn't. So the world we live in is a dieter's world. Everybody is just used to dieting. So the first instinct, and I just say, bless their hearts, they don't know any better. Everybody, the consumer, is just trying to figure out, what do I eat? Tell me what I'm going to eat, because that's all they're thinking about is just the weight loss component. So we want to make sure that we're actually in a position, and that happens in a separate conversation, that we're in the position that we're actually leading and driving the conversation. So I'm going to pull up the document, and what we did is we kind of outlined what a call could look like, or this could be an in-person meeting, this could be over coffee or something, but we kind of outlined for it so that we could give you some sample questions you could ask and things of that nature. So I've got this up. Marcy, just nod your head. I can see you, Marcy. Nod your head if you can see this. Okay, fantastic. So basically, just the top of it is, just this reiteration that we're going to do this in person or over the phone, but it's in a designated time. And the other big thing is we never want to try to describe our program, via Facebook. If somebody sees your picture, what are you doing? We don't want to try to describe it in a comment or a private message or an email or a text. Like, it just doesn't work that way. We're all about relationship. All right. We know community. That's what people are missing is community and accountability and relationships. So that's what we're going to try to engage in right from the beginning. And we want to be able to, it may take you a little longer at the beginning, but we really want to start to refine our skills so that this initial program share, this conversation, 20, maybe 30 minutes. You know, I always tell people when they ask about like if they're going to sign up on the program, you know, what does the coaching relationship look like? I'm always real clear to tell them like, okay, this is the longest conversation we'll ever have. And that's really because I'm doing the digging, I'm asking the questions. So I just want you to pay attention and take into consideration this ratio that when we're having a conversation, we're asking questions. So if we're asking questions, that then entails that we have to listen to understand, and not necessarily just listen to respond or wait for the opportunity that we can jump in. So about the call, about 75% of the call is going to be them, your potential client doing the talking. And then 25% of it will be you responding and when you do the program delivery. So hopefully that makes sense. Some of the tools that you will need is we recommend that you use the well-being tracker with your clients before you have a conversation, hopefully. And your business coach can help you with what this looks like. I'm going to back up for a second. If you are a new health coach, we do highly recommend that your first probably 3 conversations at least be done in conjunction with your business coach. And so what that just means is that, you know, you meet Susie in the bathroom at work and she's like, oh my God, like you look fantastic. What are you doing? Well, then, you know, if you want, you just say, hey, you know, do you want to learn about it? Are you interested? And if the answer is yes, then you're going to do a 3-way conversation with your health coach and your potential client. And clients are always fine with it. I mean, it's really never a big deal. If you just say, hey, I'm just learning this. I want to make sure I give you all the information correctly. I'm going to have my coach on the line. People just want the right information. So you don't have to be worried or intimidated that it lessens you in any way, because it really actually, I think, elevates you, that you want to make sure that you give them the most accurate info. And then the first couple of calls, let your health coach lead for you. Your health coach will do the questions, and you just spend a lot of time paying attention to what they ask and how they respond, because how we deliver and let our clients know that we really understand and connect with them and really makes a difference in their decision whether or not they're ready to move forward. So the well-being tracker is great. That's the one that quickly asks them about their physical health, their mental health, and their financial health. You're going to need the well-being tracker. And this is what you
I think you mean the well-being evaluation, right?
Oh, yeah. Thank you. See, how many of us looked at this and we missed that? Yeah, the well-being evaluation. And then that's available on our website that we can email a link, and your health coach can help you find that. And then, and I have it listed here where it is. And then we need the well-being tracker. And the well-being tracker is a document that's going to be the document that we keep our notes on our client, whether or not they've even decided to become on program. I write all over mine. Mine is extremely messy. And then I recommend that you have the Optavia guide with you. That's the little spiral bound notebook, because there's a little section there on page 4 that I really think describes the program well. So when the call starts, so let's just say, you get your potential person on the phone. Maybe it's Marcy I have on the phone. The first thing I want to do is I want to put Marcy at ease, because sometimes it's a little uncomfortable for people, especially maybe if they've come to you as a referral. They may not know you. Somebody might have said, hey, my friend Susan is a health coach. She can help you. Why don't you call her? So they might be a little nervous. They're not sure what you're going to ask, how much does this program cost? Like their guard might be up. So we just want to put them at ease, and, we want to get to know them. We want to find out what's going on, like what's their need? What's the problem? And what's the why? Like, why now? Why are they ready to make change? And what's gotten in the way? I think that's a real important question, is what's gotten in the way of them being successful in the past? Because for most people, this is not their first attempt at getting healthy. So we kind of want to know what hasn't gone well in the past. So some of the questions that I'll ask is, and these are just for you for samples, but maybe something might resonate with you. I'll just say something like, hey, thanks so much for completing that well-being tracker. Tell me about your responses, your score. Like, did anything surprise you when you filled that out? And very often that'll start to open up the conversation. And very often their physical health is where there's the greatest need. And so we might actually spend most of the conversation focusing on their physical health. And I usually will just say, like, so tell me what's going on. Like, why did you respond to my Facebook post about the focus group? Or why did you respond to that post about the before and after? Like, what attracted you to that? So that will just, again, open the door that they'll start to give you a little bit of their history. I might even just say, so why are we having this conversation? What's going on? And people like to talk about themselves. So once you get them talking, it's gonna flow pretty easy. And a lot of it, you may not even have to ask specific questions. You'll find what you're looking for from just what they're saying. One of my favorite questions is I'll often say, like, I know I can help you, but like, just tell me if we could wave a magic wand, like, what do you want to happen? And they'll usually start with telling you a weight, like, I really want to lose 30 pounds. But then our role is we want to dig a little deeper. Like, what does 30 pounds mean to you? So that's one of my other questions is, just share with me, like, what is losing 30 pounds? Like, what is that? That's just a number. That's just a number on the scale. What does it mean to you? And, what do you think you'll be able to do? Or how do you want to feel that you don't have now? Because what we're really trying to do is redirect. Most people, when they try to make change in their health, they're trying to approach it as a problem solving technique. Like, I need to fix that problem on the scale because I don't like that number. And then what happens is that just becomes a very not fun process to go through to try to fix the problem. What we are all about is creation, right? We want to create the life that people want. We want them to get excited because when they lose those 30 pounds, like Jonathan and Lisa have talked about on the earlier call, like, they'll be able to go hiking. They'll be able to do things that they haven't been able to do before. That's what losing that weight means to them. And that's what people get excited about, is what it's going to do for them. So that's what we want to do. And that's where we want the conversation going at the beginning. And then there's just some other sample questions there. Then we want to wait for the pause. Again, this should be probably maybe 12 minutes. We don't want to go into their whole sob story, of everything, but we do want to maybe ask them. I'll usually say the very last question, have you ever tried to lose weight before? Or have you ever tried to lose these 30 pounds? Were you successful? You'll find out. They're either good at losing weight and they gain it back, or they never can get to their goal, or they're stress eaters or emotional eaters, whatever, there's a struggle. So we just want to find what that struggle is. And so that way we'll be able to show them why the tools and components of our program are going to help them and make it different for them this time. So real important here, this transition, we just want to take that pause. I listened in on a call with Jen one time, and she did this beautifully of really reiterating the client's goals and reiterating what you heard them say. So if I heard you correctly, like, you really want to lose this 30 pounds so that, blah, blah, blah. And so that, if you do that, say their name even, it really just helps that authentic connection with them, that you get it, that you get where they're coming from. And the program share, I'll be honest with you, most of my conversations I go through, people don't even know the name of the program. They often don't even know the name of the program until they get the receipt for their order. Because I just don't go there. Because I'll be honest with you, especially early on, we're very, very proud of our program. We are very proud of our products we use, all of that. But at this point of the conversation, we know more than they do. And what I have heard happen, I could, but really early in my career, and what I'm trying to do is save you from some of the, fumbles I had along the way, was early in my career, somebody might say, well, what's the name of the program? Just what is it? What's it called? Or how much does it cost? And if we answer that question too quickly, I've heard people typing on their keyboard while I'm trying to go into the program, and I've lost their attention because they've now typed in the name of the program and they're doing their own research. So they're distracted. They're not even hearing what I say. So I just say, you know what, thanks so much. Would you, if I heard you correctly, would you like to hear about our program and how it, I could probably help you with what's going on. And so you get their permission, and I just refer to it as our health program, and I always from the get-go, I'll just say, we are a long-term health program, and we've got a great weight loss component, and I'm excited to share with you about that. But I just want you to know that the big picture here is that we want you to learn how to keep the weight off. That's where we're going with this. And in addition to the habits of health, like eating and exercise, we've got behavioral change. We address things like stress eating, emotional eating, basically what goes on behind the food. So this is where I like to use the Optavia guide, because on page 4, and you can look at this on your own, page 4 describes these things beautifully, and in the order that I think is most important for us to deliver when we're sharing about our program. So, about the health coach, why is that important? That we're going to be their, their cheerleader, their guide, their support system. The habits of health education system, Dr. A's book and workbook, and why that is so important to the process. The Optavia community, that we're going to plug them in with like-minded people, whether that's socially online or in person, if they're in an area that has local meetings. And then we get into the fuelings that we use. The weight loss program description, I encourage you to keep this short and simple until they ask you more questions. So there's no real need to go real in depth about, Johns Hopkins University and clinical studies and yada, yada. What we want to talk about is how it's going to affect them and maybe how it's different kind of weight loss than they've had before. So I always stress, it's easy to follow. It's perfect for busy people. It was scientifically developed, it's clinically studied, but I don't say anything else other than that. I just want them to know it's a sound program, what the average weight loss is, what they can expect. And I do like to talk a little bit about fat burning, that we are a fat burning approach. They're going to learn how to balance their blood sugar. And so many people are coming to us with prediabetes, so this is an important point because it really is different. If somebody's going to ask you, how are we different than Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, Nutrisystem, it's this. We are science-based and we balance the blood sugar. But the perks are for them, that they're not going to be hungry. They're going to have great energy. They're going to have fast weight loss. I mean, who doesn't want that? Right? So that's how you want to describe it. And then I always pause and I just say, you know what? I have shared a lot of information. What kind of questions do you have? And then you'll be able to zero back to, they might ask you about the fuel lanes. Okay, what are those? They might be concerned about artificial ingredients. Only talk about it if they ask about it. They might not have any concerns. I'll say you're going to eat 6 times a day, and 5 of the times are going to be fuelings that we provide, nutrient dense products, low calorie, nutrient dense. 1 meal will be your lean and green. That's all I say. At that point, you'll find out what their concern or their potential objection is. You'll know. Or they might just say, how do I get started? Or how much does it cost? And I don't talk about price until they ask me. And so then when they talk about price, I'll usually say, it's all posturing, and I'll just say, you know what, you're going to love this because all you're going to be paying for is the cost of the food and the books on your initial order. Everything else, including my coaching, all the support, it's included. So people like that. So right away you've described for them. And then we're always just going to either offer them the Optavia Essentials Kit, always getting the Habits of Health books, or the Optavia Select one. And then I think this is where we get tripped up the most, is that the final part of the call is that we're going to do the invitation. I like to call it popping the question. So which one of these, so great. So I've described it all to you. I've described the kits. Which one of them sounds better for you, for your lifestyle? So I'm making this presumption that they're going to go forward with the program. Are you ready to get started? So now that you've heard what I have to say, are you ready to get started? So that's it. So again, this is going to pop up where their objection might be. After you've heard about the program, all the support you're going to get, it's going to be different than what you've done before. Are you ready to move forward? But it's important to ask the question, are you ready to move forward? Very often it's easy to get tripped up here, right? We get a little uncomfortable. So we might say, so what do you think? So do you want me to send you some more info? You want me to, you want me to send you a video? Like, that's not where we want to go with this. We want to find out at the end of this call, are they ready or not? If yes, we're just going to go ahead and move forward. We're going to ask all the rest of the questions on the well-being tracker, the medical questions, get their info, be ready to start them. And I'll have a document as far as getting them started. If it's a not yet, and notice I didn't say it's a no, it's always a not yet. If it's a not yet, we just want to find out what the objection is or the delay. It might just be, you know what, I got to wait till Friday when I get paid. Okay, great. Today's Thursday, tomorrow's Friday. What day? So what time do you want me to call you tomorrow? So go ahead and set it up. When are we going to talk to them? Or I need to talk to my husband. Or they might at this point say, is there anything I can send you? I wouldn't send anything, like especially like the person who stopped you in the bathroom and asked you about the program before we even got to this point. I would never send anything until they ask. But maybe they say, can you send me something? And say, sure, I'd be happy to. And we can show you what to send. But then I try to get the follow-up. So when would you like me to follow up with you? And very often it's sooner than you think. And I recommend you try to get with them in 24 to 48 hours. If they're just really not ready yet, just ask if you can put them on your newsletter. Let them know you have a monthly newsletter with help tips, etc. Ask them when you can follow up again. Ask them if you can circle back with them and just periodically check on them, see how they're doing. And then you want to just put them in your follow-up file and check up on them every 2 to 3 weeks, unless they ask you not to contact them. But most people are absolutely fine with that. So any questions around those procedures? Nod your head or blink. Was that helpful? Yeah. I will tell you, I was queen at the beginning. My conversations might go on 40, 45 minutes. I'd be talking, dead silence on the other end of the phone. You almost to the point, like, are you still there? And I have just realized less is more. I mean, and all the experienced coaches are nodding their head. Less is more. And we're never looking to convince anybody, sell them. I mean, we're just really sharing and looking for that connection. And that delivery is so important. The other thing I'm going to go ahead and show you, I don't think that we necessarily have to go on through it line by line, but I just want to show you a document that we created about when you have a new client that's ready. We've got the well-being tracker for them. And then this will be in the file section as well. This is another document that if you want, you could print and then staple to your well-being evaluation or well-being tracker for them, as far as just kind of keeping yourself on track to make sure that we do everything. We know that if we get a client off to a successful start, that they're going to be much more successful. And a lot of that is connection, sending emails, etc. So in this document, basically, I have the procedures for how do you place that order for them. We always place their first order for them, how to do that on your website. That's all right here. And then if you use Synduit, which some of our more experienced coaches use Synduit, and that is a email service that we can use, or not, basically what you send to them, their welcome email, their days 1 through 4 emails. I'll have them in our file section so that you guys can just easily grab them, copy, attach, paste them into an email for your clients. There is an optional text series that you can use for your clients. The link for that is here. And you just basically copy and paste these texts to your clients on the first week of program. Just a reminder that we're going to put them on our newsletter database. There's just so many things we do. It's just an easy way for you to check. You're going to friend request them on Facebook. We're going to put them in our Facebook groups. And then, of course, when their program arrives, basically what we do on those first few days. So it's just a great way for you if you want to have a checklist to kind of keep it straight and know where your information is. We're hoping that this will be helpful for you for that. So I'll post that. And if you have questions about it, we're trying to streamline and hopefully get consistency within our group, what we're doing. If you're doing something different or you have a question, just talk to your business coach about it. The cool thing about this business is that it's pretty straightforward and pretty standard, the process, but you can personalize it if you want. If you want to send an extra email with some recipes, that's your thing, go for it, if that's your style. But if you don't want to be a recipe person or that kind of person, you don't have to. So if you're doing something or if you want to add something to these procedures, it's not necessarily a bad thing. You can add your personality to it. Any questions around that? Helpful? All right, fantastic. A couple of quick things for us as coaches. Again, on Sunday, June 4th, if you live in this area, that's this Sunday, clients and coaches, highly encourage you attend our meeting on June 4th. It's at the Holiday Inn in Roswell. In our coach Facebook group is the link for signing up. And encourage you to invite your clients and help them get connected to the community. They'll just do a lot better on program. We've got convention July 20th to the 23rd, and I think a lot of people on this call are already registered, but if you're not, and you do want to do something with this business and be a successful health coach and have a successful business, as Dr. A would say, you just don't miss it. We find a way to make it happen, and we'll work with you. We'll help you find roommates, whatever we can do to help you with that. But, you know, basically it's the registration fee, your airfare, and then pretty much everything else is covered as far as any kind of food expenses, etc. So it really is your education. You know, just like, you know, any kind of business or degree, you have to have education. And so that's where we get it. And then I also wanted to let you know that on Tuesday, June 6th, so that's this coming Tuesday at 3 p.m., I typically have an executive director phone call with our EDs on our team. And we're going to have that call, but we're going to open it to everybody, and I will record it if you cannot attend live. But we're going to have Ron Gels join us. Ron is a global director. And for those of us that would like to build our business is bigger and help more people by linking arms with more people who maybe would like to help a few people as a health coach. Ron is going to help us with how we do that and how we talk to people, just like similar to how we just had the conversation about how do we talk to potential clients, how do we talk to potential health coaches, and then also how do we easily get them up and running with that. So that's at 3 p.m. on Tuesday. So there's a lot there. We have so much available for us to help you guys be successful. So thanks for taking time. An hour is a long time. So thanks for holding tight with us. And I'll see you on the Eat, Live, and Be Healthy page. Do me a favor on those, when those focus group posts start on Monday, if you'll jump in as well. They are designed to be highly interactive, comments, things like that. Join in just like you're on the Facebook focus group. Join in as a participant and as a cheerleader for other people. And you're just going to be amazed at the enthusiasm that's going to rise in that group. So good stuff. Thank you guys for what you do. We had an incredible month. Our team hit a new record for how many people we're helping. And so it's just so excited to see everything moving forward and us helping more people. So you guys have a good night. Thank you.